Right, hello, Abdiaziz Ahmed here, and tonight we're diving headfirst into the digital rabbit hole that is cryptocurrency. You've heard of it, haven't you? Bitcoin, Dogecoin, that weird one your nephew keeps trying to explain at Thanksgiving dinner. It's that baffling, exciting, and occasionally terrifying world of digital money that promises to either revolutionize global finance or be the 21st century's equivalent of tulip mania, but with more electricity consumption. It's a topic so dense, trying to understand it can feel like trying to assemble IKEA furniture in the dark, while a badger critiques your technique. Now, whether you think cryptocurrencies are the glorious dawn of a new financial era, or just a bunch of computer code that people have inexplicably decided is worth more than a small car, it's undeniably a big, confusing, potentially game-changing thing. And because it's confusing, and because people are throwing actual real-world money at it, sometimes life savings, it's probably worth trying to get a basic grip on what it actually... Think of this as your beginner's guide, your crypto for dummies, if dummies were, incredibly sophisticated and discerning viewers like yourselves. So buckle up. We're going to try and make sense of the jargon, the hype, and the underlying technology. We'll look at what it is, how it supposedly works, why people are losing their minds over it, and whether it's truly the future of money or just a very elaborate way for Silicon Valley types to buy artisanal pizza. It's going to be a ride, possibly a bumpy one, but hopefully by the end you'll be slightly less bewildered. Or at the very least, bewildered at a higher, more informed level. Let's begin. So let's start with the absolute basics. What cryptocurrency? Well, at its heart, it's a type of digital or virtual money. Think of it like the coins you collect in a video game, except in theory you can use them to buy things in the real world, assuming the person selling the thing you want is willing to accept your pixel power pounds or whatever it's called. The crypto part comes from cryptography, which is a fancy word for secure communication techniques. Essentially, it uses complex codes to secure transactions, control the creation of new units, and verify the transfer of assets. It's all very clever, very mathematical, and designed to be incredibly difficult to tamper with, like a digital Fort Knox, but one that's also somehow everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Now here's a key difference from the money you're used to, like the dollar, the pound, or the euro. Those are called fiat currencies, and they're controlled by governments and central banks. These institutions can print more money, set interest rates, and generally meddle about for better or worse. Cryptocurrencies, on the other hand, are typically decentralized. This is a word you'll hear a lot. It means they're not controlled by any single entity. No government, no central bank, no shadowy cabal of bankers stroking white cats, at least not officially. The idea is that power is distributed across a vast network of computers, making it, in theory, more democratic and resistant to censorship or control by a single point of failure. This decentralization is a massive part of the appeal for many. Imagine a world where you can send money to anyone, anywhere, without needing a bank's permission, or worrying about a government freezing your account because they didn't like a tweet you posted. That's the utopian vision anyway. The reality, as we'll see, can be a bit more complicated, a bit more like a digital Wild West, where the sheriffs are algorithms and the outlaws are surprisingly good at phishing scams. But the core concept is this: digital cash secured by codes and not run by the usual suspects. It's an attempt to reinvent money from the ground up, using the power of the internet and some very, very clever math. All right, so if cryptocurrency is the general concept, what are the specific examples? Well, you've definitely heard of the big one, the alpha dog, the one that started it all, Bitcoin, created back in 2009 by the still mysterious Satoshi Nakamoto, who might be a person, a group, or possibly a very clever Labrador with a laptop. Bitcoin was the pioneer. It was the first decentralized cryptocurrency, and it's still the largest and most well-known. Think of it as the Kleenex or Hoover of the crypto world. It's the brand name people often use to refer to the entire category, much to the annoyance of other cryptocurrencies who are all like, hey, we exist too, we have feelings and different transaction speeds. Then you have Ethereum, which is often seen as Bitcoin's younger, perhaps more ambitious sibling. Launched in 2015, Ethereum isn't just about digital money, it's blockchain, and we'll get to what that is in a moment. Hold your horses. Is more flexible. It allows for something called smart contracts, which are self-executing contracts with the terms of the agreement directly written into code. This has opened the door for a whole ecosystem of decentralized applications, or dApps, covering everything from finance to gaming to art in the form of NFTs, those digital pictures of bored apes you've heard about. So, while Bitcoin is often pitched as digital gold, Ethereum aims to be more like a world computer. And beyond those two giants, there's an absolute Cambrian explosion of other cryptocurrencies. We're talking thousands of them. You've got BNB, which is linked to the Binance exchange, Solana, which boasts about being super fast, Cardano, which prides itself on its academic, peer-reviewed approach. And then there are the meme coins like Dogecoin, which started as a joke based on a Shiba Inu dog meme, and then, because the internet is a fundamentally absurd place, became worth billions of dollars. It's a crowded, chaotic, and frankly bewildering marketplace, like a digital flea market where some stalls are selling potential technological breakthroughs and others are selling, well, magic beans, shiny digital magic beans. So we've talked about these digital currencies and their decentralized nature, but how does it all actually? How do you keep track of who owns what? And how do you make sure no one's cheating the system if there's no central authority? The answer, my friends, lies in a technology called the blockchain. And yes, it sounds like something a child would invent, like blocky chainy MacGuffin, but it's the fundamental backbone of most cryptocurrencies. Imagine a shared digital public ledger, a giant ever-growing spreadsheet that everyone involved can see, but no single person controls. That's essentially what a blockchain is. Every time a cryptocurrency transaction happens, say Abdiaziz sends one Nerdcoin to Brenda, that transaction is bundled together with a bunch of other recent transactions into a block. This block then needs to be verified and added to the existing chain of previous blocks. This verification process is often done by miners or validators, depending on the specific cryptocurrency. These aren't grizzled prospectors with pickaxes, though some of them do use an awful lot of electricity. They are people or entities with powerful computers who solve complex mathematical problems. The first one to solve the problem gets to add the new block to the chain and is usually rewarded with some new cryptocurrency for their trouble. This is how new coins are often created. Once a block is added to the chain, it's there forever, and it's incredibly difficult to alter because the ledger is distributed across thousands, even millions of computers worldwide. A hacker would need to simultaneously alter the majority of those copies to change a transaction, a feat that's practically impossible for well-established blockchains. This creates transparency, as anyone can, in theory, view the transaction history, and security, as the data is cryptographically linked and widely distributed. It's this distributed, immutable, and transparent nature of the blockchain that makes people believe it can prevent fraud and create a more trustworthy system, even without a central overlord watching everyone's digital pockets. It's a system built on distributed trust, or perhaps distributed distrust of central authorities. Now that we have a vague, possibly headache-inducing idea of what crypto is and how the blockchain works, let's talk about its supposed key features, the things that make its proponents get all starry-eyed. First up, as we've hammered home, is decentralization. The idea that no single bank, government or corporation controls the currency is a massive selling point. It means, in theory, your funds can't be frozen by an angry dictator or devalued overnight because the central bank decided to print a gazillion new notes to pay off its debts. It's financial sovereignty, or so the brochure claims. Coupled with this is security, thanks to all that complex cryptography we mentioned. Your transactions are supposedly secure and your ownership is protected by your private keys-long complex passwords that you absolutely must not lose ever. Seriously, don't. Next, cryptocurrencies are often touted as being global. Because they live on the internet, they don't really care about borders. You can, in principle, send Bitcoin from Boston to Bangalore as easily as you can send it to your next-door neighbor, without worrying about international transfer fees from traditional banks, currency conversion headaches, or waiting days for the transaction to clear. This leads to another purported benefit: they can be fast and cheap. Now, this is where things get a bit variable. Some cryptocurrencies can process transactions very quickly and with minimal fees. Others, particularly older ones like Bitcoin during busy periods, can be surprisingly slow and expensive. So, fast and cheap is more of an aspiration for some and a reality for others, but it's a core part of the promise. Finally, many popular cryptocurrencies, most famously Bitcoin, have a limited supply. For Bitcoin, there will only ever be 21 million coins created. That's it. No more can be made, unlike traditional fiat currencies where governments can, and often do, fire up the printing presses. This scarcity, proponents argue, makes it a good store of value, a kind of digital gold that can protect against inflation. If the supply is fixed and demand increases, the price should, in theory, go up. Of course, in theory is doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence, as the price of cryptocurrencies is, to put it mildly, famously volatile. One day you're a genius, the next you're eating instant noodles for a month. So, with all these features and complexities, why are people actually bothering with cryptocurrency? What's the draw? Well, one of the biggest, and let's be honest, most visible reasons is investment and trading. You've seen the headlines, Bitcoin hits new all-time high, or more recently, crypto market in turmoil. Many people see cryptocurrencies as a new asset class, a way to potentially make a lot of money very quickly. It's the allure of high returns, the thrill of speculation. Of course, this comes with equally high risks. For every story of a crypto millionaire, there are countless others of people losing significant sums. It's a digital casino for some, a long-term investment for others. Beyond pure speculation, some people are genuinely using cryptocurrency for payments. While it's still far from mainstream for buying your morning coffee, its use is growing, especially for online services, international remittances, or in countries with unstable traditional currencies. The promise of fast, cheap, borderless transactions is attractive, even if the reality isn't always there yet. Another significant motivator is privacy. While most major blockchains like Bitcoin are pseudonymous, transactions are public, but identities are hidden behind addresses, rather than fully anonymous, they can offer more privacy than traditional banking systems, which track your every move. This appeals to those wary of surveillance or who simply value financial discretion, though it also, regrettably, attracts those involved in less savory activities. And finally, there's the sheer force of innovation and the belief in the technology. Many people involved in crypto are true believers in its potential to disrupt traditional finance, create more open and equitable systems, and power a new generation of internet applications, often dubbed Web3. They see it not just as money, but as a foundational technology for a more decentralized future. There's a genuine excitement, a sense of being part of something revolutionary, and of course there's good old FOMO, the fear of missing out. When everyone around you is talking about it, it's hard not to feel like you should at least dip a toe in, even if you're not entirely sure what you're dipping it into. So, there you have it. Cryptocurrency, a digital, decentralized, cryptographic marvel that's either the key to our financial liberation or a globally distributed Ponzi scheme powered by more electricity than several small countries. As we've seen, it's complicated. It's got the potential to be revolutionary, offering a way to transact without traditional gatekeepers, with an architecture that some of the brightest minds on the planet are genuinely excited about. It could theoretically make finance more accessible, more transparent, and maybe even fairer. That's the sales pitch anyway. And it's a rather large Bitcoin-sized but. It's also wildly volatile, incredibly risky, and let's be frank, still largely unregulated in many places, making it a playground for scammers and a source of massive headaches for anyone who loses their password, which, it turns out, is a lot of people. For every visionary promising a utopian financial future, there's someone trying to sell you a coin named after a dog, or worse, disappearing with your investment to buy a very silly boat. The environmental concerns around some cryptocurrencies are also not insignificant, often requiring vast amounts of energy for mining, which is not ideal when the planet is, Ultimately, is cryptocurrency the future of money? The honest answer is nobody really knows. It could be, or it could be a fascinating, technologically impressive dead end. Or most likely some aspects of it will stick around and integrate into our financial lives in ways we can't yet fully predict, while others will fade away like so many forgotten internet fads. What is clear is that it's a space that demands caution, a healthy dose of skepticism, and a willingness to do your own very thorough research before you even think about converting your hard-earned cash into Moon Lamborghini coin. So stay informed, be careful, and maybe don't bet your grandma's retirement fund on it just yet.